half a second to get on my laptop. Again, I thought I had it all mapped out. I got home to do my last, what I thought was going to be my last 3 hours of preparation, and a wonderful opportunity came up through a family member to provide my father opportunity to apply for a position at Chrysler. And so we had to, needs to stay, stop, drop, and roll and take advantage of that. So at any rate, I'm switching to my laptop now, and we're gonna take off. All right, so a couple things. Last week we were here till midnight, and we can't let that happen again this week. So to the greatest extent possible, please write your questions down, as we're going to have some intersections where we make some transitions, and that'll be a good time for us to deal with questions. Also, we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25 people on now. If we get more, ideally, I want to close in enough time to at least minimally allot 1 minute per participant. So we're going to have to move along, not in a rush, but we're going to have to move and save our show enough heavy articulation for particular intersections and give us enough time to talk at the end. Before we get started, would anybody like to give us a summary from last week's class?
I can. I'm new, but I can.
Okay, Miss Aisha, welcome.
Yeah. So last week was my first class, and then I've been there 2 times. But last week we dealt with point of balance, and we actually went all over like all 4, but we really talked about maintaining our point of balance and controlling our center.
Mm-hmm.
And, like weight distribution, like both physically and mentally. We talked about keeping your point of balance in the air as well. And then we talked about, like, one thing that I wrote down was like, when you have a connection with yourself, you're able to be in a successful space. I remember us talking about that. And then about breathing, we broke down the prefix meta and the suffix ion. And we talked about breathing and the I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is it Dantian?
Dantian, very good.
Dantian. So we talked about that. So that was kind of a summary of what we talked about last week.
Excellent job. Thank you. Anybody else?
Dang, Mama Aisha came with the serious notes.
Did she?
Peace and love, Mama.
Thank you. Peace.
Okay, anybody want to add anything? Emerson wasn't here last week. He normally come through with the heavy notes. Kimmy,
Peace, instructor.
Huh? Come on, hero.
Peace, instructor.
Peace, brother.
I got in my notes, the point of balance is control over your center. Having control over your center is central to power. Having both feet on the ground allows for the most powerful base. We talked about overcommitting can put you over your center of balance. Saying being a yes man, we talked about that. Saying yes too much can pull you off your balance. We also talked about procrastination disrupting your point of balance. I think that was one of the things I wrote down in particular. Procrastination disrupts harmony. Also, ignoring the spirit disrupts harmony. We talked about harmony requiring active awareness and being in the now. And then we got into 3 habits you should have. I think that was towards the end. We talked about having a habit for supporting health, 1 for spirit, and 1 for finance.
Correct.
That's what I got.
Thank you, brother. Excellent. That was the mic drop that Instructor Vaughn gave us. One more person. Anybody else? Not a mandatory, but anybody want to put anything else on it? Thank you, Hero. That was excellent. We got 3 minutes. Anybody else? Okay.
Instructor.
Okay, come on, brother. Infinite.
Yeah, so we also, last week we talked about being over our center and our point of balance for us in the virtual dojo, everyday life, how to balance life and balance family and our own personal spaces at the same time. So I don't want us to forget that part of it too, because that was very, very deep. That made the conversation, made the whole lesson, that much more deeper by talking about our virtual centers and the point of balance in our day-to-day life.
Exactly. Thank you, brother. And the example that you first initiated was becoming withdrawn.
Yes.
Sometimes, we disrupt our harmony by not by doing too much or overextending ourselves, but withdrawing from people and projects and circumstances. So that was excellent. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so we're going to take advantage of every minute possible. So we're going to save these 2 minutes here. Today, we're moving into the second P of the 4 Ps for physical power, that being mechanical conditioning. Mechanical conditioning is comprised on the physical side of a couple different things. The first of which I would simply just call tempering of the physical weapons. Tempering the weapons. Again, with all things, we strive to illustrate where they apply in the physical space and how they apply in the virtual space. And again, as Sister Aisha brought to the table, the metaphysical space is most often, or is the bridge from, or the expansion, or the leveling up, or the conditioning, moving us out of purely physical 3D temporary into restricted into the expansive, more subtle but more powerful energies into the metaphysical realm. So on the physical side, purely physical, point number 1 in my notes, or the way I took the notes out, is tempering of the physical weapon. And tempering of the physical weapon is, I got it subcategorized into 3 other aspects. A being contact conditioning, B being strengthening, and C being stretching. Again, tempering the physical weapons. A, contact conditioning. B, strengthening. C, stretching. Number 2, and let's just stay there so that you can do my best to help you adjust your notes so that they can be cohesive for you when you go back to them. So in tempering the physical weapons, we deal with all of it. We start with the hand, which we can subdivide into the fingers, the blade of the hand, the palm, the knuckles, and then we'll move up into the wrists. We move up further into the elbows. We then can move down into the knees and into the feet, specifically subdivided between the heels and the balls of the foot. So again, tempering the physical weapons, and the head can be used as a weapon too, but we don't do much tempering on purpose with the head. So again, the hands divided into the fingers, the blade of the hand, the palms, the knuckles, the wrists, the elbows, the knees, the feet, subdivided into the heels and the balls. And what we use specifically under the contact conditioning dynamic, we use conditioning aids. And those aids can be the barrels, which we fill with rice, sands, and stone or pebbles. The iron palm, which is a bag with a block in the bottom and sand and duct tape that we use to condition the palm of the hand. And then we don't have these in our dojo, but the old dojo we did, and we probably need to revisit this, the rubber guts, whereby we would take a 5-gallon bucket, and then we would stretch a rubber membrane over that opening, tie that down tight, and then you use that in the same way that we use the barrels to condition the full hand piers. And that is a monster. And then obviously we spend a lot of time, and we're going to continue to spend more time. This lesson has truly inspired me, and it coming up, with our new green belts and with those that are moving rapidly through white in preparation for the green belt, and even those above, our colored belts and the higher ranks, we utilize the Makawara quite a bit, and we will be leaning on it much, much more. For those that are unfamiliar with the spelling, let me spell that for you. Mak, M-A-K-I-W-A-R-A. Makiwara, M-A-K-I-W-A-R-A. So many of us know what our Makawara consists of, but for those that don't, is literally half of a telephone pole. So Instructor Andre, his spirit spotted a down telephone pole a couple years ago, and we captured the pole, cut the pole in half around the diameter, so we got the round face and the flat back, tied that flat back to a structure, and we wrapped that in rope and probably 1/4 inch thick rubber membrane, and there you have it, a tempering aid, a conditioning aid that tempers not only the body, but the spirit and the mind and the will for sure. It is a powerful tool because it allows us to work with interval, developing power through striking, and probably the most important aspect is tempering the will and the spirit. Any questions about those tempering, conditioning, contact conditioning tools?
Hey, Peace Instructor, could you possibly list those, just list them off of me real quick?
List what aspect?
The tools that you listed, like the
Okay,
Macaraya board, and then what else?
okay. The first one I mentioned would be the barrels, the conditioning barrels filled with rice, sand, or stone. The iron palm, again, it's a block of concrete with sand and stones on top, all wrapped in a beautiful duct tape package, wrapped and rewrapped. Then we have what we don't have in our space, but we need to build one, is the rubber guts. Again, 5-gallon bucket, rubber membrane stretched over the top, used in the same fashion as the barrels. And then lastly, it is the Makawara, M-A-K-I-W-A-R-A.
All right, for sure.
You good there?
Yeah, I got conditioning barrels with rice and sand, iron palm, the guts, and then Macaraya.
Makawara, yes.
Wow. All right, for sure. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. So then again, we're not going to dig into these deeply, but other aspects of or tempering tools would be strengthening training, Some folks like, weightlifting. Others are subscribed to calisthenics, but some form of resistance training in developing muscle to add to our strength. Again, separate from power, and we're gonna get into that in a moment. And then the third one was just stretching, yoga, Pilates, or some system along those lines. All of these things are helpful. So what I do want to take a step back just a little bit in the sense that mechanical conditioning, in my mind, is very much rooted and centered around the physical body. We are on purpose about moving beyond the physical body because we're clear of its limitations. But in a martial aspect, it is absolutely critical that we condition the body, because as we climb the ladder and court power and are privileged to gain more power, if the conduit, if the vehicle is not fit, the power, one, will destroy it. Two, the power will not be allowed, you will not be able to realize or utilize the effective power if the physical implement is not conditioned sufficiently. It'll either be destroyed by the power or not transfer the power effectively. So mechanical conditioning is very much important, and important for us to recognize that it is about the physical vessel. Okay, number two in this formula, or a second point under this, is the conditioning and programming of the earth suit. Conditioning and programming of the earth suit. And so we utilize a number of things, one being floor practice. So you can call floor practice A. I'm sorry about that. I told you family house, so puppy. So floor practice would be A. B will be exchange. C, we will call kumite, Kumite. Okay. Again, conditioning / programming the earth suit through A, floor practice, B, exchange, and C, kumite. All on the physical side of things. So floor practice, again, we know what this is. This is many thousands. Is there a question? Many thousands of repetitions of strikes and maneuvers. Floor practice, thousands of repetitions. When you think back on it, those that have been with us for a few years, those that have been with us for weeks, those of us that are approaching decades or over and beyond the decade point, hundreds of thousands, millions of strikes have been done. It is important, it's necessary, it's required in conditioning the body, period. It's required in the sense of programming the earth suit. Muscle memory is important. Proper practice is how we get to perfect performance. We must practice perfectly. This is why, for those of you that have actually physically been in this space, I'm sure there are times when we as instructors, we feel like you're just nitpicking and squeezing you to death. It's because we are. Because if you don't practice properly, you will not have the proper performance that you need. Period. Again, another aspect, another tool that is developed, or another reason why floor practice is important, it is important in developing an arsenal of blows, be it upper body and lower body, developing the short range, medium range, and long range blows. Again, conditioning and programming the earth suit, A, through floor practice. Subcomponent of that is many thousands of repetitions, and the express purpose of developing an arsenal of blows. And those blows are going to be found in upper and lower body, short, medium, and long range blows, respectively. I give you time, a second to get that written down.
Can you repeat that last part again? About the expression.
Expression. Oh, I'm not sure exactly. Developing an arsenal of blows, be it with the upper body and lower body, I probably said, and expressed through short, medium, and long range blows.
Thank you.
Okay. So quickly, again, just to round this out. So those blows, our weapons are, are found in kicks, be it a front kick, side kick, back kick, roundhouse, high snap kick, a hook kick, a low kick, call it a knee break. I don't know that you actually need to write these down. The knees, upward knee, thrusting knee, the hands, one point is important here. The open hand, let me slow down. Let me make the hands last. We use the elbows around, up, down. We use our throws, the throws, be it a body throw, an extended throw. We practice these things. But the hand in many systems are either divided into what we call poison hand, open hand applications, or iron applications. So Kempo, translated to the way of the fist, in its, in antiquity and ancient days. Obviously, we are living in a living, breathing, evolving art. And so our grandmaster introduced the poison hand, open hand system to us long ago. And when we embrace it, you find that the open hand has far more utility than the closed iron bludgeoning approach. And so when we look at the hands and we look at the strikes, the many fold strikes that our hands are able to administer, we deal in the snake's tongue, the full hand pierce, shuto, the bear claw, eagle's claw, the gouging thumb, dragon fist, crane's beak, the palm heel, snap punch, inverted punches, and strikes the wrist, wrist around, from the inner, from the outer, the wrist up, thrusting wrist. So we find that we have far more utility and many-fold uses in the open hand as opposed to the closed clenched fist. Any questions, comments, concerns in this particular area?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm new to this whole Zoom situation, and I just want to know if I'm correctly tuned in to you guys.
You are correctly tuned in. We can see you and hear you.
Okay, above my, okay, it's gone now, but above my image, there was a hand. I guess that indicates that I need to talk.
No, you would have inadvertently hit the button to raise your hand to be acknowledged.
Okay, there's a red dot above my image. What is that?
It's probably the indicator that the meeting is being recorded.
So how is that?
Has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
You just sit back, hit your mute, and come off mute if you got another question, my brother.
Okay.
I hope you have a notebook and a writing utensil.
Yeah. Okay. Just a moment.
Excellent. We're glad you could join us, man. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
No worries. Okay. All right. Any other questions related to floor practice?
I just wanted to say, first of all, peace and love, family. Thank you, instructor, for getting this lesson ready for us. And I just want to say thank you for that. You just unpacked something for me as far as like the open hand opposed to the closed fist, which I think you know what I mean by that. It's my my go-to, but you just opened some, unpacked some things for me as far as using the open hand more.
I'm glad to hear it. Again, in a real testament to the evolution of the art. In the past year, we as instructors were made privy to what could have seen, what came across as being sexist and discriminatory and limiting, because historically the art had been taught that only men used closed fists, and that they were not taught to or made available to women. And so in our evolution, it was brought to our attention that that option needs to be made available. So I think you know firsthand that I have not told you not to use it, but I have instructed you that if you intend to use the fist, you are going to be forced to condition it and develop it like it has historically been developed. So again, it was not to dissuade you from it or push you into a particular approach, but I did want to, and I'm glad to hear that it really struck a new chord with you and the benefit of using the open hand. And so for those that are familiar with the axiom and those that are not, whenever I think about what this thrust punch does, I always think about the axiom that the teeth are hard and they fall out. The tongue is soft and it will last forever. It's just a very, very powerful axiom specific to what this closed fist will provide, or how it would deteriorate on you, and this palm will last and these fingers will last so much longer, and how limiting it is, because you can only do one or two, maybe three things with this fist, and the range of use with the hands is just it pales in comparison when you look at the fist alone. So thank you for that, sister. And unless there are other questions, we will move on.
Thank you,
I have
instructor.
a question, instructor.
Yes.
So you explained the poison hand. Could you explain a little bit more about the iron?
Briefly, yes.
And
Okay, so briefly, without going too far, because I think we can explode these in directional flow and probably point of contact in the upcoming weeks. But briefly, philosophically, the closed hand ties itself to blocking. It ties itself to breaking and bludgeoning, if you will. So it's hard. It's a hard style versus a soft style. Meaning, when you overlay the closed fist approach and an iron palm or an iron fist or hard approach to the art, is going to take you down the path of blocking and resistance. At which point you can find yourself in a limited situation and at a disadvantage based on size and strength and muscle. When you subscribe to the philosophy of the poison hand and a soft style, it allows you to counteract what comes with hard, strong, forceful force applications. And so instructor moved us into the poison hand for longevity's sake, for versatility's sake, and for leveling the playing field. This is why in our discipline, a woman of 90 pounds can deal with a man of 300 pounds, former football player. Same with the child, same with a smaller stature, male like myself. So the poison hand the soft philosophy, the approach that does not impede or meet force with force, but allows an expression of force to pass you by and then manipulate that, is the advantage. It gives an advantage. So that's my personal perspective. I would defer to senior instructors. If anybody's online, not if you're online, but if anybody cares to clear that up or explode that or take that to another level, by all means.
I think that was perfectly stated.
Okay, thank you, sir. Does that offer you something, Brother Hero?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Anything else? Again, I'm not rushing anybody, so don't feel rushed. If you have questions, by all means, let's put it on the floor. I know that our time is gonna suck up quick, and then we're gonna need some time to express. Okay, so be under conditioning and programming the earth suit. We're gonna talk about exchange. Again, mechanical conditioning. The exchange is a tool that our grandmaster gave us that allows us to slow down the vigorous rate of combat that is found in the next conditioning tool of kumite, which is, no hold, I won't say no holds barred, but fast paced, as fast as you can move, delivery. It's what people would call a fight. I hate to use that term, but just call it a fight. And then I guess people in secular space will call exchange a spar. I don't know. But the exchange for us is a very powerful tool because it slows down combat and it allows the partners to work with each other. And my white belts, I've been spending a lot of time with you in this space. We're going to continue to stay in this space because it's a valuable tool. And I believe you all are just beginning to really see the value in it because it allows you to work on both sides, what we will, some will call offensive and defensive. It allows you to explore your repertoire of your arsenal of weaponry. It allows you to get acquainted with the maneuver. It allows you to get acquainted with your own personal interval. It allows you the benefit of exchanging with multiple people because everybody expresses the art differently, be it from a physical perspective, their size, length of arms and feet, and then there's just the expression. The expression of it from each individual is totally different. So exchange is a very powerful tool. It cannot be underscored. And it is not by accident that the floor practice, which is, tempering or conditioning or training and programming the earth suit to explore the arsenal, the exchange is built on top of the floor practice. And so we spend a lot of time in the floor practice to bring it to an exchange. And it is your responsibility as a student to carry what you get from the floor practice into the exchange. It is not about ego. Write this down. This is important. Put stars around and underline it. It is not about ego. If you carry the thought to exchange that you want to hit because you got hit and you don't want to be touched, and I got to do, if you carry any of that into the exchange, you are cheating yourself. Absolutely cheating yourself. To that point, let me take a half a step back. When it comes to floor practice, yes, we push you at a vigorous pace. However, it is your responsibility to engraft into your body, into your DNA, what the proper blow looks like. Again, do not allow ego to slip in and trick you. When your instructors are correcting you, when you are doing something and we call attention to it, no matter how minuscule it may feel. And again, I know firsthand it can get very irritating. It was very irritating for me. But that is the time to be empty. Brother Ron used to say that yesterday, empty his cup. Empty your cup, take it in and listen and utilize it, no matter how minuscule it may be. And don't let ego get in. I'm the last one to finish, or the person next to me is going so much faster, or they get their foot higher than mine. None of that. It never matters. One of our brothers used to always say that I can do 1,000 push-ups, it won't get you one muscle. And that's a very true statement. So you should not compare yourself to the person next to you, in front of you, or behind you in the floor practice. And you need to take every morsel of the correction and implement it. Again, because that builds, that is the foundation for your exchange. And when you're in the exchange, takeaways for exchange are exploring your arsenal, becoming acquainted with your interval, learning how to utilize the maneuver, and becoming acquainted with the different expressions from different people. Those would be my 4 bullet points under exchange. I hope you wrote them down because I don't remember them exactly, but those are the 4. Questions? Come on.
You don't remember? Can you repeat them? Those 4?
I can remember. Exploring your arsenal of weapons. Becoming acquainted with your interval. Learning how to utilize the maneuver. And the last one is learning how to engage with different people. Be it women, be it men, be it children, be it big people, tall people, skinny people, you know, fast people, people with more weight, more girth, all of that. Aggressive people, passive people, in quotation marks.
I had a quick thing to add too before we leave from exchange. Just really calling out the importance of the practice allowing you to make mistakes without paying for it. Like that's a big piece of exchange. So like if you were going anywhere else and you were sparring, like if you made a mistake, you know, you could be hit and hurt. Or if you are in a fight, you could be hit and hurt. But in exchange, it allows for you to make a mistake and learn from that mistake without, you know, paying for it physically or being in pain or having a busted lip or anything like that.
Thank you, instructor.
Yeah,
Very
no
good
problem.
point. Now, many of us would argue and say, I have gotten a busted lip in exchange, but the point is seriously detrimental, you know, full force contact is not a part of the equation. But that's very important, that's hugely important to learn from mistakes without paying the ultimate price. Very good point. Thank you, instructor. Appreciate you. So I would definitely put stars around that. So those are the 5 tools under exchange. Exploring your arsenal, becoming acquainted with interval, learning how to utilize the maneuver, learning from the experience of different combatants, and the benefit of not paying for mistakes the same way you would in a full force engagement. Learning from your mistakes, better stated. Okay, C is the kumite. Many of you have, some of you have tasted it completely. Others of you have, well, some of you have felt it, have experienced it. Others of you have tasted it. Will be in the ring of fire in the open session. Kumite is full force contact. It is unrestricted. It is at speed, at whatever the speed of each individual is able to generate and move by. Kumite is a sharpening tool. It tempers not only it in no small way. I think the most tempered aspect of the Kumite is tempering the wheel, and it forces you to dig deep. It forces you to temper the wheel. It tempers the wheel, and the bottom line is Kumite is full force, at speed, full contact application of the art. So it takes the training wheels off, and it calls for your freedom to find full expression. And that is largely where the challenge lies, in that we have to allow ourselves to be free with ourselves. We have to allow ourselves to be free with our loved ones, our brothers and sisters, that we normally spend so much time taking care of. In the Kumite, your concern for them is at its lowest point. Obviously, we don't and will not work to take eyes out and throats and things of that nature, but that fist is coming, that palm heel is coming, that roundhouse is coming, that side kick is coming, and it's coming to make contact and to stop you. So that's the Kumite. Any questions? All right. Okay. So this is the time where I want to take us to the bridge on our way to the metaphysical space. So quickly, let's be very clear about it. Physical tempering and strengthening and stretching, but exploding into this strengthening place. We talked about this from a resistance, and Instructor Vaughn taught us years ago that there's a distinct difference between strength and power, and that in order for an individual to realize their strength, you must have resistance. In order to realize strength, it is measured against resistance. In contrast, power does not need resistance to realize itself. Power just is, right? And so I liken it to something my mother taught me. She taught me a long time ago, never take all your money out the house, wherever you go. And if you could take all your money with you, you don't have no money. Same with strength. If you think because you can lift, even 300 pounds, it's a tremendous amount of weight. I personally would have a hard time moving 300 pounds, definitely not off a bench press. But if you can move 300 pounds and you feel that that is the ultimate exertion of strength, that's cool. But moving 300 pounds does not equate to power. Power does not need resistance to realize itself, physically and otherwise. So in that, and in the vein of that, there's another way to access power distinctly different from strength. And the bridge to that is found in Qigong, for example. One way is Qigong. I see it spelled, it can be spelled C-H-I, first word Qi, second word Kong, K-U-N-G, or Qigong, Q-I-G-O-N-G, right? I think it's more or less.
It's Chinese versus Japanese spelling. The
Exactly.
C-H-I is the Chinese spelling and the Q-I is Japanese.
Yes, sir. So essentially, you'll see, I wanted to pull it out because you'll see it in different ways, but when you start to deal with the material, you find that they are one and the same. Now, that being said, preface, in preparing for today's class, it really put a bright spotlight on how 2 hours is not even, I'm gonna do my level best to scratch the surface. And I'm gonna take you directly to the book. But two pieces of information or sources that I used, and I'm gonna primarily focus on the one because it brought some specific language that we just utilized and utilize a lot. But I have two books that I want you all to write down, and you may want to order them. One is Iron Shirt Qigong, Chikung. This is written by, the Dr. Mantak Chia, Mantak. Last name is Chia, Chia. That's this book here. And Dr. Mantak Chia, he's a bad man.
Not to cut you off,
yes.
and I'm not sure if this is where you're going with it, but I was just going to bring light to the fact that that's where our Iron Shirt embracing the tree practice comes from, is that book.
That is correct. And embracing the tree is just, man, when I say just scratching the surface, we just scratching the surface. It gets so deep so fast. It gets so deep so fast. We got a lot of work to do, and this is inspiring. I'm thankful for having been tasked with this because I owe it to not only you all, but I owe it to myself to dig deeper into the vast resources that I have at my disposal, our disposal. The second book is The Essence of Shaolin White Crane. The Essence of Shaolin White Crane. That's spelled SHAOLIN. The Essence of Shaolin White Crane. And this is written by Dr. Yang. That's YANG. Zhuang Ming. That's JWING hyphen MING. Okay.
Peace, instructor. My bad. The first one was Iron Shirt Qigong.
Correct.
And by what was the author's name?
Mantak Chia, MANTAK CHIA.
Okay. All right, cool. Bet. And then the last one was Shaolin. Shaolin White Crane.
Shaolin White Crane. Dr. Yang, YANG, Zhuang, JWING hyphen Ming, MING.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So I want to share. I need. So let me slow myself down. Again, I'm not in a position to, and we don't have the time to unfold this. I mean, I can't even express to you how fast it gets, how deep it gets so fast. But the bottom line is, as we start to deal in these sciences, we move completely past lifting and pushing up and all of that. And we get all the way into the inner planes and literally begin to, in quotation marks, loosely exercise the organs, the meridians, strengthening the tendons, strengthening the bones. I don't want to say strengthening, infusing power into the bones. And it is all tied to the breath. It is all tied to the breath, and it is tied to the power of the onboard supercomputer we call the brain, and thought and intention. And so this it is an absolute bridge from the physical into the metaphysical planes, how we move from the dense muscle tissue application down into even down into the microscopic cellular level of intention and development of power. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to read some passages from Shaolin White Crane, but I do want to give you a brief summary from the back of the Iron Shirt. So this is quick. Long before the advent of firearms, Iron Shirt Qigong, or a form of Kung Fu, built powerful bodies able to withstand hand-to-hand combat. Even then, however, martial use was only one aspect of Iron Shirt Qigong, and today its other aspects remain vitally significant for anyone seeking better health, a sound mind, and spiritual growth. The art, paraphrasing, the science in the book is more apt and vitally significant for anyone seeking better health, a sound mind, and spiritual growth. That testifies to us. In Iron Shirt Qigong, Master Mantak Chia introduces this ancient practice that strengthens the internal organs, establishes roots to the earth's energy, and unifies physical, mental, and spiritual health. Mantak Chia introduces this ancient practice that strengthens the internal organs, establishes roots to the earth's energy, and unifies physical, mental, and spiritual health. Through a unique system of breathing exercises, he demonstrates how to permanently pack concentrated air into the connective tissues, or the fascia, surrounding vital organs, making them nearly impervious to injuries, a great benefit to athletes and other performers. I want to spell the word fascia. That's F-A-S-C-I-A-E. F-A-S-C-I-A-E. That's the connective tissue. It's the tissue that is oftentimes found between organs or connects organs. The fascia, muscle tissue connects muscles to bones, things of that nature. He shows readers how once they root themselves in the earth, they can direct its gravitational and healing power throughout their bone structure. Once they root themselves, once we root ourselves in the earth, we can direct the earth's gravitational and healing power throughout their bone structure. Additionally, Master Chia, presents postural forms, muscle tendon meridians, and guidelines for developing a daily practice routine. After becoming rooted and responsive, practitioners of Iron Shirt Qigong can then focus on higher spiritual work. After becoming rooted and responsive, practitioners can then focus on higher spiritual work. I thought that to be very befitting of us, because as we know, by selection, the discipline makes no mistakes. And as we know from being in this collective and in this family, we are all very much aspiring upward on the spiral of evolution and consciousness, and striving to move beyond our physical flesh, beyond our physical environment, to not only be empowered beyond the limits of the flesh, but be in tune with the masterful universe and that our Creator created. So I thought that was very telling. Questions, comments on that? Anybody? Anything? Is there anything in the chat I need to address? Instructor Northland, keep an eye on that for me, please.
Yeah, got you.
Okay. No questions, comments? Okay, cool, family. So I'm going to come directly from this book for a spell, and this is the White Crane. I'm going to come directly from this for a spell because the language, I didn't want to cheat it in paraphrasing it. Excuse me, and I'm not going to read it all, but there are a few pages that I think we'll find them to be quite befitting based on last week's class and based on what what we root ourselves in on a daily basis. So I'm going to jump right to a section that talks about this is a modern definition of ki. Ki, chi, prana, life force, energy, power. This is, all interchangeable, but this is a modern definition of ki. It is important that you know about the progress that has been made by modern science in the study of ki. This will keep you from getting stuck in the ancient concepts and level of understanding. So of course, in the Western society, we want to validate and prove everything by means of science, which is cool. And once we accept it, we'll find that there's rarely any contradiction between science, spirituality, or even religion for that matter. We just need to orient some of the stories, some of the metaphors and such, and then science supports what the ancients knew long ago. In ancient China, people had very little knowledge of electricity. They only knew from acupuncture that when a needle was inserted into the acupuncture cavities, some kind of energy other than heat was produced, which often caused a shock or a tickling sensation. Has anybody, who has not experienced acupuncture?
I haven't.
No Javion.
I have not.
Okay.
I have an instructor.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't.
Okay. All right. So acupuncture is very powerful. It is, period. But the reason I asked the question, you absolutely feel the electricity moving through your body into various areas when the practitioner puts the pin in you, put the pins in you. And it is no question, it's electricity. So that was why I asked the question, because we are bioelectric machines. This earth suit is so fantastic. It is absolutely a bioelectric machine, but let me not get sidetracked. So again, let's see here. We understand that it produced heat. It produced something other than heat, which was produced often caused a shock or tickling sensation. It was not until the last few decades when the Chinese people were more acquainted with electromagnetic science that they began to recognize that this energy circulating in the body, which they call qi, might be the same thing as what today's scientists call bioelectricity. It is understood now that the human body is constructed of many different electrically conducive materials, and that it forms a living electromagnetic field and circuit. The human body is constructed of many different electrically conducive materials, and that it forms a living electromagnetic field and circuit. Electromagnetic energy is continuously being generated in the human body through the biochemical reaction in food and air assimilation. Again, electromagnetic energy is continuously being generated in the human body through the biochemical reaction in food and air assimilation and circulated by the electromotive forces. Electromotive forces, ELECTRO, electromotive, like in automotive, MOTIVE, electromotive forces, otherwise referred to as EMF. So you'll hear that again. EMF is the electromotive forces generated within the body. So again, let me clean that up a little bit. Electromagnetic energy is continuously being generated in the human body through the biochemical reaction in what? Food and air assimilation. And it is then circulated by the EMF, or the electromotive forces. In addition, you are constantly being affected by external electromagnetic fields, such as that of the earth, or the electrical fields generated by clouds. When you practice Chinese medicine or Qigong, you need to be aware of these outside factors and take them into account. Okay? Questions, comments about that section? All right. Y'all say I'm doing that good. Okay, cool. I'm gonna skip ahead. Those of you that may have been with us in the summertime when early stages in COVID, we went out to the park and Instructor Keith had us operating in the sand. You may remember him using a phrase called piezoelectric. Anybody remember that? Just say aye.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so excellent, good enough. So the piezoelectric, this happens when they're, let me see, let me not cheat you. Hold on. So piezoelectric, let me spell it, P-I-E-Z-O, piezo, P-I-E-Z-O, electric, E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C, piezoelectric, P-I-E-Z-O, electric. This is produced when mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. This is produced when mechanical energy is converted into electrical energy. And this goes on to talk about how the body's bones actually do this. I'll read you this section. A doctor by the name of Robert O. Becker has done important work in this field. His book, The Body Electric, you might want to write that down. I have not read it, but his book is called The Body Electric, reports on much of the research concerning the body's electric field. It is presently believed that food and air are the fuels which generate the electricity in the body through biochemical reaction. This electricity, which is circulated through the entire body by means of electrically conducive tissue, is one of the main energy sources which keep the cells in the physical body alive. Again, food and air are the fuels which generate the electricity in the body through biochemical reaction. This electricity, which is circulated throughout the entire body by means of electrically conducive tissue, is one of the main energy sources which keeps the cells of the physical body alive. Obviously, without the cells being alive, the body would die. Also, we can think about how often we see the paddles, the electric panels being poured out when people are in cardiac arrest or stop breathing. They send that jolt of energy through you in hopes of reviving the body. Okay.
Can you put that book up again? What was the name of that book?
The book we're reading from?
Yeah, what was the name of it?
Check the chat.
Huh?
No, he's talking about The Body Electric.
Yeah, The Body Electric book. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's in the chat.
Is there anything that like necessarily keeps like the electric energy from leaving our bodies, or is that just like our skin?
I don't know that I'm qualified to answer that question, Brother.
I'm sorry. I felt like it was I wasn't sure, but you know, it's no dumb question.
No, I'm not gonna call it a dumb question. I'm gonna say
No, I said that's dope. That's dope. That's a dope question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very dope. Very dope.
It's above my pay grade at this time, but the bottom line is that the ultimate engineer, the creators that put us together, have a closed loop system that it's our responsibility to do it and treat it better, and it would do profound things. So let's table that for now. And one other piece that I have underlined here: every cell of the body functions like an electric battery and is able to store electric charges. Every cell of the body functions like an electric battery and is able to store electric charges. We can get so deep. I won't read every page to you, but let me move forward. Let's move forward. And let's talk about a modern definition of Qigong. And this is going to take us into the area I want us to really hunker down in, again, in bringing us to clarity on the bridge from physical into the metaphysical, and a bridge from strength into power, and from mortality into God and God is essence. So a modern definition of Qigong rather, let's see here. If you now accept that the inner energy or the Qi circulating in our bodies is bioelectricity, then we can now formulate a definition of Qigong based on electrical principles, okay? Let's see here. I'll just read it. Let us assume that the circuit shown in figure 2.2 is similar to the circuit of our bodies. Unfortunately, although we now have a certain degree of understanding of this circuit from acupuncture, we still do not know in detail exactly what the body's circuit looks like. So there's a prime example, Brother Terrence, why I'm not the man to answer the question. Okay, we know that there are 12, you want to write this down, there are 12 primary Qi channels or Qi rivers. There are 12 primary Qi channels, this is spelled Qi, or Qi rivers, and 8 vessels or Qi reservoirs in your body. There are also thousands of small Qi channels. They call them Luo, L-U-O. The Qi channels are L-U-O, Lu or Lao maybe, which allow for Qi to reach the skin and the bone marrow. Okay, let me go back. 12 primary channels or rivers, 8 vessels or reservoirs, and thousands of small channels, referred to as Luo, L-U-O, which allow the Qi to reach the skin and the bone marrow. In this circuit, the 12 internal organs are connected and mutually related through these channels. Okay.
And, excuse me, instructor.
Yes.
Just can you repeat the thousands of channels that allow? I just missed the very last part of that.
Okay. They allow the Qi to reach the skin and the bone marrow. The skin and the bone marrow. So that alludes to what I attempted to preface and allude, open with, is that when we're dealing with muscles, and even calisthenics, we are still dealing with gross motor, third dimensional, fourth dimensional construct. When we elevate our exercise, our practices, our rituals into, the bioelectric field, it's going to allow us to develop and store power down to the bone marrow and in the skin. This is where where and how we're going to access effortless breaking. This is how well into, our senior years, we will be powerful people, healthy organs, limber, strong even. Anybody else need any clarity? We good? Okay.
I wanted to clarify that. I said that was a dope question to make that about that when the brother said, why can't our bodies?
I heard you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because that's a really nice question right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
By all means, dive deep and find the answer for us.
I was gonna say, you said 12 main channels, 8 reservoirs, and thousands of smaller channels.
That's correct.
Okay.
Also remember, this is being recorded, so I got some ground I got to cover, and it's gonna be 11 o'clock on us in real in no time. We got a few more things we need to explode.
For sure.
Any other quick question? I don't want to shut you down. I just want us to be mindful. Did you get clarity on that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So, and here it's a further breakdown. If you look at the electrical circuit, you will see that one, the Qi channels are like wires which carry electric current. So the channels are like the wires which carry electric current. 2, The internal organs are like the electrical components such as resistors or solenoids, right? The organs are like resistors or solenoids, solenoids. And then the key vessels are like capacitors, which regulate the circuit, which regulate the current in the circuit. The vessels are like capacitors, which regulate the current in the circuit. How do you keep this electrical circuit functioning most effectively? Your first concern is the resistance of the wire which carries the current. In a machine, if you want to use a wire which has a high level of conductivity and low resistance, in a machine, you want to use a wire which has a high level of conductivity and low resistance. Otherwise, the current may melt the wire. Therefore, the wire should be of a material like copper or perhaps even gold. In your body, you want to keep the current flowing smoothly. This means that your first task is to remove anything which interferes with the flow or causes stagnation. Fat has low conductivity, so you should use diet and exercise to remove excess fat from your body. You should also learn how to relax your physical body, because this opens all the key channels. This is why relaxation is the first goal in, I'm going to tear this word up, Tai Chi Quan and many Qigong exercises. Let me spell this Tai Chi Quan. T-A-I-J-I-Q-U-A-N. Tai Chi Quan. T-A-I-J-I-Q-U-A-N. And many Qigong exercises. That's Q-I-G-O-N-G.
That's just an alternate spelling for Tai Chi.
Thank you, instructor.
Same thing, yep.
Keep it moving. And we're gonna give you 2 more paragraphs. We got to move on. Your next concern is in maintaining a healthy electrical circuit is the components. Your next concern in maintaining a healthy electrical current is the components, your internal organs. If you, and this is important, I want us to, I'm taking the time to do this because I didn't want to cheat you. This is important for us to connect our intention and to be very present that our physical exercise, outward physical exercise, is just the scratching of the surface, and that our real work is going to go on inside. And this is where we're going to really get powerful, family. Your next concern in maintaining a healthy electrical circuit is the components, your internal organs. If you do not have the correct level of current in your organs, they will either burn out from too much current, which is yang, or malfunction because of a deficient level of current, which is yin. In order to avoid these problems in a machine, you use a capacitor to regulate the current. Whenever there's too much current, the capacitor absorbs and stores the excess. And whenever the current is weak, the capacitor supplies current to raise the level. The 8 key vessels are your body's capacitors. Qigong is concerned with learning how to increase the level of Qi in these vessels so that they will, so that they will be able to supply current when needed and keep the internal organs functioning smoothly. This is especially important as you get older or your Qi level is generally low. Let me go back. Let's see. If you do not have if you do not have the correct level of the current in your organs, they will either burn out from too much, which is yang, or they will malfunction from a deficient level, which is yin. In order to avoid these problems in the machine, you use a capacitor to regulate the current. And the capacitor functions whenever there's too much, it absorbs it. And when there's not enough, the capacitor feeds that to raise that level. Here's your point that you want to take out. The 8 key vessels are your body's capacitors. And Qigong is concerned with learning how to increase the level of Qi in the vessels so that they will be able to supply current when needed and to keep the internal organs functioning smoothly. And this is especially important as we get older or we find that our Qi levels are generally low. Finally, in order to have a healthy circuit, you have to be concerned with the components themselves. If any of them are not strong or of good quality, the entire circuit will have problems. This means that the final concern of Qigong practice is how to maintain or even rebuild the health of your internal organs. Before we go any further, we should point out that there is an important difference between the circuit shown in the diagram and the Qi circuit in your bodies. This difference is that the human body is alive, and with proper Qi nourishment, all of the cells can be regrown and the state of health improved. The human body is alive, and with the proper Qi nourishment, all of the cells can be regrown and the state of health improved. For example, if you are able to jog about 3 miles today, and if you keep jogging regularly and gradually increase the distance, eventually you'll be able to easily jog 5 miles. This is because the body rebuilds and readjusts itself to fit the circumstances. Okay, questions, comments on that? Just to give us a glimpse into the circuitry.
Could you tell me what pages are you on?
Oh, you want to steal my thunder? You got this book? You got this book at home, Teresa?
Is that the one that they just put in a chat box?
Probably so. I'm on page 48 now. Oh, that was 48. I'm sure that was page 48 and 49. Okay, cool. Should have known. North Lake. We're gonna move on.
Down the PDF. I can,
Okay. Couple more things I want to give you, and then we're going to move on to how we're going to apply this week in our practice. Okay. For anybody that's following along, we're on page 50 now. I didn't want to make this a reading lesson, but let's do it. Page 50. You can see from this discussion that the key to effective Qigong practice is, in addition to removing resistance from the Qi channels, learning how to increase the EMF in your body. Now let us see what the sources of EMF in the body are. Again, that's electromotive function, force. Let's see here. So generally speaking, there are 5 major sources, 5 sources of the EMF. Number 1, natural energy. Number 2, food and air. Number 3, thinking. I thought this was huge. Number 4 is exercise. And 5, converting pre-birth essence into Qi. Just last night we talked about the 3 sources of energy, which were, who can name them real quick?
Food.
What's the first one?
Oh, the first one is breath.
No, that's the second one.
No,
The first one is NATO.
NATO,
Okay.
breath, and food, which has just been corroborated in this book. So again, the 5 main sources for the EMF: natural energy, food and air, thinking, exercise, and converting pre-birth essence into Qi. Let's dive in.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry. I want to write it down.
The first one is natural energy. The second is food and air. That's my daughter too. The third is thinking. 4 is exercise. And number 5, converting pre-birth essence into Qi, QI. Okay, now, this was beautiful. I love this one. Natural energy. Since your body is constructed of electrically conductive material, its electromagnetic field is always affected by the sun, the moon, clouds, Earth's magnetic field, and by other energies around you. Again, since your body is constructed of electrically conductive material, its electromagnetic field is always affected by the sun, the moon, clouds, Earth's magnetic field, and by other energies around you. The major influences are the sun's radiation, the moon's gravity, and the Earth's magnetic field. Again, the major influences, the sun's radiation, the moon's gravity, and the Earth's magnetic field. These affect your key circulation significantly and are responsible for the pattern of your key circulation since you were formed. These affect your key circulation significantly and are responsible for the pattern of your key circulation since you were formed. We are now also being greatly affected by the energy generated by modern technology, such as electromagnetic waves generated by radio, TV, microwave ovens, computers, and many other things. This is huge. We know that they're weaponizing these things against us. I mean, it's just so much. This is why I wanted to read this stuff to you, because it's so much in there. That gave us a clear idea as to why we feel so many times we feel down when we don't get the sun, and we get into these dog days of winter and the sun is hidden by the clouds, days don't end, depression sets in, energy is low, fat goes up, and as soon as we get to the spring and we get some more sun, you're ready to move and everything comes to life. Clearly tied together. Any questions about that?
I didn't have a question, but I had a comment if you didn't mind.
Is it 15 seconds or less?
Yep.
Come on.
That just made me think of I actually saw like a documentary on how we live our lives every day and how most people work in buildings, and they tend to suffer from depression and anxiety much more than others that work outside, because they have it to where they don't have access to the sun from the windows. So then that way they're not getting the nutrients from the sun, like you talked about, which creates all these things in our body that are detrimental to us. So that just brought that out for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. Thank you. It's 10:23, family. I don't know where 90 minutes went, but we got some ground to cover. Number 2, let me ask a question real quick. Who has a hard cutoff time?
I do.
I do.
What time is yours?
10:45.
Yes.
I'm here.
Okay.
Mine is 10:30.
All right. I apologize for those that's gonna have to leave, and so we got to put on the afterburners right quick. I tell you what. I need to jump ahead because there's some things that man, I knew this was gonna happen. There's some things that need to be I need to share with you before we get offline. So we're gonna leave it right there. The 5 sources for EMF, you have those. That's the natural energy, food and air, thinking, exercise, and converting pre-birth essence into key. These are important. I got to give it to you. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I need to give it to you. Food and air, in order to maintain life. Now, I just hear my instructor Keith and the vegans and the vegetarians amongst us harping on the importance. In order to maintain life, we take in food and air essence through our mouth and nose. These essences are then converted into ki through biochemical reaction in the chest and digestive systems. This is called the triple burner in Chinese medicine. Triple burner, B-U-R-N-E-R, like a furnace or stove. When ki is converted from the essence and EMF is generated, which circulates the ki throughout the body, consequently, a major part of Qigong is devoted to getting the proper kinds of food and fresh air. We'll table that. Number 3, thinking. This was big. The human mind is the most important and efficient source of bioelectric EMF. The human mind is the most important and efficient source of bioelectric EMF. Anytime you move to do something, you must first generate an idea. Idea in Chinese is yi. Why I? Whew. Why I? That's a great question right there. Can't dive down that rabbit hole right now. This idea generates the EMF and leads the ki to energize the appropriate muscles to carry out the desired motion. YI generates the EMF and leaves the key to energize the appropriate muscles and carry out the desired motion. The more you can concentrate, the stronger the EMF can generate and the stronger the flow of key you can lead. That's huge. The more you can concentrate, the stronger the EMF you can generate and the stronger the flow of key you can lead. Naturally, the stronger the flow of key you lead to the muscles, the more they will be energized. Because of this, the mind is considered the most important factor in Qigong training. That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. Exercise. Number 4, exercise converts food essence or fat stored in the body into Qi and therefore builds up the EMF. Many Qigong styles have been created which utilize movement for this purpose. So we burning and building Qi with our exercise take us back to floor practice. Number 5, converting pre-birth essence into Qi. The hormones produced by the endocrine glands are referred to as pre-birth essence in Chinese medicine. The hormones produced by our endocrine glands are referred to as the pre-birth essence. They can be converted into Qi to stimulate the functioning of our physical body, thereby increasing our vitality. They can be converted into Qi to stimulate the functioning of our physical body, thereby increasing our vitality. Balancing hormone production when you are young and increasing the productions when you are old are important subjects to Chinese Qigong. Again, this highlights and illustrates the number of attacks we under. The hormones, the artificial hormones and stuff that they pumping into the food, the meat in particular, the radioactivity that they doing with this 5G and the stuff that we bring into our house and the Wi-Fi, we are constantly being bombarded and attacked in the most vital of areas. Let's talk about the Dantian. This is important to us. Qigong practitioners believe that there's a place which is able to store Qi. We talked about this last week. Bioelectricity, Qi or bioelectricity. Chinese Qigong practitioners believe that there is a place in which to store Qi. This place is called the Dantian or the Elixir field. According to such practitioners, there are 3 Dantians in the human body. Who knew? One is located at the abdominal area, 1 or 2 inches below the navel, called the lower Dantian. We talked about this last week. The second is in the area of the lower sternum, and it's called the middle Dantian, which is, say, call it in the solar plexus. And the third is is the lower center of the forehead, or the third eye, connected to the brain, and is called the upper Dantian. Let me get this again. Let's do it one more time. The Dantian, also known as the Elixir field. There are 3 Dantians in the body. 1 located in the abdominal area, 1 or 2 inches below the navel, the lower Dantian, or Shui, or Ji Dantian, Xia Dantian. The second is in the area of the lower sternum, or called the middle Dantian, or Zhong, Z-H-O-N-G Dantian. And the third is in the lower center of the forehead, third eye, call it the first eye, connected to the brain, called the upper Dantian, or the Shuang Dantian, S-H-A-N-G Dantian. The lower Dantian is considered to be the residence of water Qi, right? That one I give you. Yes, this is important. Let me skip ahead. We don't have time. Let me do this. Check this out. Through nearly 2,000 years of experience, the Taoists have said that the front Dantian area is not the Dantian, but is in fact a false Dantian. Their argument is that although the lower Dantian is able to generate Qi and build it up to a higher level, it does not store it for a long time. I believe Teresa asked last week about, was the Dantian a storage place? It is, but not for a long time. Again, with 2,000 years of experience, the Taoists have said that the front abdominal area is not the real Dantian. This messed me up when I read this, but is in fact a false Dantian. Their argument is that although the lower Dantian is able to generate Qi and build it up to a higher level, it does not store it for a long time. This is because the lower Dantian is located on the path of the conception vessel, located on the path of the conception vessel, CONCEPTION, as in like conception, birth, so that whenever Qi is built up to a higher energy state, it will circulate in the conception and governing vessels. This lower Dantian therefore cannot be a battery as we understand the term. A real battery should be able to store Qi. Where then is the real Dantian? Taoists teach that the real Dantian is at the center of the abdominal area, at the physical center of the gravity located in the large and small intestines. Now let's analyze this from two different points of view. First, let us take a look at how life is started. I thought this was huge. We talked about this last week. Let us take a look at how life is started. It begins with a sperm from the father entering an egg from the mother, thus forming the original human cell. This cell next divides into 2 cells, then 4 cells, etc. When this group of cells adheres to the internal wall of the uterus, the umbilical cord starts to develop. Nutrition and energy for further cell multiplication is absorbed through the umbilical cord from the mother's body. The baby keeps growing until matured. During this nourishing and growing process, the baby's abdomen is moving up and down, acting like a pump, drawing in nutrition and energy into his or her body. Again, the baby keeps growing, during this nutritioning and growing process, the baby's abdomen is moving up and down, acting like a pump, drawing in nutrition and energy into his or her body. Later, immediately after birth, air and nutrition are taken in from the nose and mouth through the mouth's suckling action and the lungs breathing. As the child grows, it slowly forgets the natural movements of the abdomen. This is why the abdomen's up and down movement is called back to childhood breathing. We talked about that extensively, and we talk about it all the time, and why we have to reprogram ourselves and go back to breathing again, as stated here, back to the childhood breathing, because it takes us back to our very essence. And we talked about this last week. I'm thankful for the Creator having shared that with me so many years ago before even running into this. Okay, I can't take you through no more. We got to stop right there. It gets really, really groovy. I got to stop right there. Any questions about that piece? Because we got to talk about what our practices will be, our active application will be for this week. Quick questions, comments, anything that we need to go back to that I covered that maybe you need some clarification on spelling or a sentence that cut off on you, anything like that? Okay, cool. All right, so practical application side. So I want to ask and invite anybody to join me on a 7-day, won't call it a fast or a cleanse, but a 7-day mechanical conditioning camp commitment. What does that look like? So in the metaphysical place, in the virtual dojo application, mechanical conditioning in my mind is tied to our habits, which we just saw how important what we eat is, which ties into concentration, better stated, concentration, as Instructor Keith has given us, that meditation is the substance of breathing and being. which leads us to concentration, control of thoughts. Now we see that concentration and control of thoughts is going to lead us to molecular level, cellular control, building power, all the way down to the bone marrow, to the skin, and every other system or organ system. So saying all that to say this, what I propose is a mechanical conditioning boot camp. I want to propose those that are willing, we roll out, we set our alarm clocks for 4:45 in the morning. We take that first 15 minutes to get yourself together, get to the bathroom, do what you got to do in the bathroom, swish your mouth with some mouthwash so you don't hurt your feelings when you're breathing, get the urine out, etc. Be back in your private space, in your sacred space by 5 a.m. sharp. And for each day, we're going to use a separate chakra. We're going to start with the root chakra. Better stated, let me slow down. 4:45, roll out, get your head start, get your bathroom in. 5 o'clock, we in our sacred space, whether that's on your forehead or on your bottom. Get your first few minutes of, praise, thanksgiving, gratitude, whatever you do. And then, so from 5 to 5:15 is gratitude time. 5:15 to 5:30, we're going to work on a specific chakra energy. We're going to start with the root. We're going to also add the frequencies to each root. Each chakra. So effective tomorrow morning, 4:45, we roll out. 5 o'clock, we in our position. 5:15 to 5:30, we're specifically bringing our energy to the root chakra. And every day we'll move along. The first 2 days, we're going to be seated, dealing with the root and the sacral. On day 3, we're going to move up to the solar plexus. And at that 5:15 point, we're going to do 15 minutes of embracing the tree. Again, centering our energy around the call and specific chakra with the frequency playing. And we'll move on up to the crown over the course of 7 days. That's one aspect of it. Anybody like the sound of that, want to enroll in that?
Okay, I do. Can you give the chakras? The first 2 days is.
Yes, we're gonna move from the bottom up. So the root will be day 1, sacral will be day 2, solar plexus will be day 3, heart day 4, throat day 5, first eye day 6, the crown will be day 7.
Thank you, instructor.
Okay, so that's one piece. That's the meditation.
I like that, Instructor Aku. This is Randy, and I've been looking forward to waking up earlier and getting a head start with my body. And I'm sitting here with my friend in North Carolina, the one who lost her son. And she's sitting here listening because I was like, look, don't go in your bedroom. I want you on this call tonight because I've been like out of integrity these last couple of days, dealing with her, not using her as an excuse at all, but just being with her. And she's in the space with me and she's sitting here listening, shaking her head, hollering yes. So definitely, I'm not sure what the second option is, but I definitely say this is a go when it comes to tempering the flesh, the mind, the body, and the soul.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear that. So the second component is going to be some physical exercise. Physical exercise would also be included in it. First couple days, we're going to deal with the lower body, the legs, whatever that. And I'm not prescribing what we do, but each of us can do our own thing. Some of us already have workout regimens that we adhere to. So, but the first 2 days will be the leg exercises, whatever that looks like for you. Day 3, moving us up into the solar plexus. We start to deal with the belly, crunches, things of that nature. And as we progress, we'll develop a chat so we can communicate and share some ideas and concepts along the way. But before the week is out, by the time we get to the throat, because we learned that the throat is connected to the blue chakra, which also governs the arms. We talked about that last week, arms and hands. So by the time we get to the throat, we should be doing some push-ups, some curls, or whatever your preference is. And again, as the week goes on, we'll lock in and share concepts and ideas. Go ahead, Minister.
Peace instructor. So that would be like following the mental piece though, right?
Following the what?
Like how you said, the physical aspect. It all kind of be like one to follow the other.
Correct. Yes. That'll be after your 5:30. You know, after you finish your meditative piece, whether you do it right then or, you know, get some slumber and come back to it or whatever. Go ahead.
My only question for you, instructor, was do it have to be at 5:30? Can it be earlier?
But certainly, I mean, go and get it in if you up and moving earlier. Part of this is also going to be the benefit of the collective of those of us that can tune in at the same time. That'd be cool. You know, that's going to be a blessing too. But by all means, bro, go get it. And those that got to get it later, go get it.
I just was checking to just try to see, you know, trying to get an understanding to see how, you know, the flexible of it. Because I like it, man. That's dope, man. Because I'm already been cracking off the days trying to get them going at like 5, you know. So I'm definitely right there with you, man.
Copy that. I see you, Brother Ibrahim. I'm going to say no hopping on Zoom, man, because that 4:45, that slim window of 15 minutes to get to the restroom and get back in position is going to be tight. And I know that I'm going to have to leverage the telephone to play the frequency, and therefore that's going to be some you know, some electromagnetic interference anyway. So I wouldn't say we go on Zoom. We just gonna operate in integrity. What I will say is this: what I would like to do is, those that want to do this, we'll start a chat in Telegram, and at that time roll out and just put, you know, OMF on my face, on my feet in the chat, and that way you know we in. And by the time you get to 5 o'clock, no more texting. That way we don't throw ourselves off. So again, we're gonna build this plane a little bit as we go, but journal thoughts. Journal each experience. Why not journal the experience, Brother Paul? Why not? Okay. So the other piece to it, so the first piece is the meditation, right? The second piece is going to be some physical exercise. Again, we'll move this up the body as we move up the chakras. Again, we'll start our little conversations. We can throw some ideas out there. I'm open. I don't have it all figured out. And then the last piece is going to be intake, or some level of on-purpose cleansing. So my suggestions, we have two things I would like to throw out. Again, we can build this concept together. One is a morning elixir. This is something that my sugar and I were just doing a couple weeks ago. We did a Queen Afua cleanse. So we have been implementing a morning detox drink. Simple, everybody has this at home, I'm sure. Hot water, lemon, cayenne, and maybe a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Create a good elixir in the morning. Definitely helps to move the system throughout the course of the day. And without putting restrictions on your intake, I'm going to eat lean, as you know, in the direction of lean, but I was going to throw out the concept. How do you feel about maybe closing our day with a little smooth move or some sort of gut cleaning elixir before bedtime? Opinions on that? Sound like a plan? All right with that? Anybody?
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, sweet. So those are the 3 boxes for our physical practice in conjunction with the lesson. Obviously, get to the dojo if you can, and we're gonna put that physical work in. If you're not here, that's fine. Go hard with your floor practice. And again, we owe some of our students. We owe you some tutorials on creating some conditioning aids at home. We owe you that, and I apologize on behalf of the instructional staff. But that's about it. We had a lot more to cover, but we got 15 minutes. I do want to open the floor up. Oh, wait a minute, somebody has something in the chat. What was that? I saw something. What was that? Shucks. We can start our share. There's 92 messages. Y'all going in on here. Okay, that was warm water, 1 tablespoon of olive oil and castor oil, 14 drops of garlic juice, and a whole lime, pinch of cayenne pepper. So that is the morning elixir. Warm water, olive oil, castor oil, garlic, a lime, pinch of cayenne. Okay, so with no further ado, let's start to move through our process. The first person I see is Aaron. Come on, sugar. What you got?
Peace, family. This was very informative, overabundance of information. And I look forward to the part 2 piece of it. You did a great job. And yeah, it was a lot of information, especially about all the energies, these electromagnets flowing through us. So yeah, I've got to listen to the recording over because it was a lot of information to write down. So I have a lot of notes scattered, but I'll look at the recording.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother Infinite. You know what? Before you go, bro, anybody need to log off? I want you to go first. I know you raised your hand, lovely. Is Terrence gone? Yep, he already gone. Kimmy, she gone? No, she's still there. So, lovely or Kimmy, go ahead, go please.
Okay. I think it was a great class. A lot of information, as was stated before. But for me, like the perfect timing for retrograde with the 5 main sources of the EMF, and the first one being natural energy, dealing with the moon and everything that's going on right now. So that was perfect.
Sweet.
Secondly, for me was with some of the things that my body is going through with healing and onset of carpal tunnel arthritis. This was like perfect timing for me to dive into this and have information and light shared on some of the things that I need to do for self. So it was great. Greatly appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Glad it. Yeah, the retrograde is quite timely. This is a good time. I didn't even know it was retrograde till you put that out there. So that's yeah, this is good time for us to press in. We're gonna get fantastic results out of this. Excellent. Come on, Sister Kimmy. Stop
it. Gratitude for today's class instructor. Was very enlightening. First and foremost, it was a lot of information to take in. It's always so fascinating to see how the discipline evolves, because I mean, just from what we knew, I never knew that you could unpack the 4 P's so much, and the metaphysical behind it is so fascinating. It's like, it's just so much to take in. I think that just these classes, it's just not enough time, like you said, and definitely agree with having some part 5 and 6, like not even just 2 and 3, 5 and 6. Like, I think it was a lot we still needed to tap in on with Instructor Keith. It's definitely a lot that we need to tap on into with you as well. So you guys are doing a great job with getting the information across, though. So I appreciate that. And just 100% for clarity, we're starting tomorrow. So 4:45 a.m. today,
Yes,
basically.
yes.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Oh,
got
and
you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because another thing we might want to do, because I could use some help with this too, is getting into bed and maybe, putting the word out, shutting down. Let's go, time to tap out, sleep time, same way we're going to announce that we on our feet. Maybe we're going to announce we going in, and we can shut that chat down, because I know that thing get to going. I get caught up myself. But thank you very much for being here. As usual, you always add to the space. Okay, y'all keep moving around. Come
Hey,
on,
quick statement. I was just gonna say, just for the people that weren't here, I think that we should at least give a day in between for them to, be able to join, so they'll miss the first day if we start to, in 6 hours from now. So I would
okay,
say at least a 24-hour window just for them to be able to join in.
okay, instructor. Um, okay, yes, sir. We got a little grace and mercy. That's cool. Brother Theo, you got your hand up. Come on, bro.
Thank you, Instructor Keith. I appreciate that. Cause 6 hours from now, it was sounded crazy. I was ready to do it. I was ready to do it. Yo, but that grace and mercy is very much appreciated.
Okay.
I appreciate this call. It's interesting that the fifth piece of magnetic force development was the activation of the natal energy, which at first it's funny. Me and the lady been watching the Matrix series recently, the last couple of days, and that's exactly what the machines did. They tapped into us, in our natal form and just absorbed our energy. Anyway, but being able to do that on our own, and taking that energy and developing it and using it for our own productive purposes. Anyway, appreciate the call. I look forward to getting on doing the the chakra cleanse starting tomorrow night or Thursday morning. That sounds great. And again, Instructor Aku, this is definitely was a lot of information. I too look forward to unpacking this in the chat, and I look forward to part 2 of it, diving into that Shaolin Crane book for sure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Yes, it's amazing how uh, all roads lead to meditation. The truth stands on its own, and no matter where you look, no matter where you go, you're gonna come back to the truth when it is the truth, and then we dealing in it, and we get to see how the powers that be, choose to entertain, package, and play on the reality of things and keep it from us when they can. So that's a good share on that. Brother Paul.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, bro.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, excellent. Really, I'm just blown away by how I think Kimmy talked about it. Just how much you were able to expand my vantage point and point of reference on mechanical conditioning. It gives me a new perspective and way to focus while we're not only working with the conditioning aids, but as we're doing anything that consists of mechanical conditioning, like floor practice, or even in the exchange and the kumite, those are exercises and tools for us to condition our mechanics. It gives me a different point of focus, a different way to visualize, a different intention behind behind these or charging these my interactions with these gifts that the discipline has for us. So I'm just looking at it differently. Is I like the as Instructor Keith says, there's levels to this, and so this is yet another level of insight that we didn't have that we have now. So I'm grateful for all the work that you put in. We definitely need some sequels, some follow-ups to just this topic alone. You did an amazing job. I'm grateful for you. Grateful for all of y'all. And yeah, man, this is dope.
Thank you, bro. Love you too, man. Yes, it just highlights how much more is available to us, and not in a bad way, but how much more work for us to do. So to that end, man, I'm going to take on responsibility of learning more and bringing more to add to us, to our metaphysical practices. So duly noted. Thank you, brother. Man, y'all just keep on moving, I guess, as y'all leave. Brother Ron, you on mute, brother. You gotta hit.
I got him. All right, yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, brother. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, man. I just want to thank you so much. I am touched, moved, and empowered by the words you broadcast tonight. I am in awe. You touched on many subjects, and I'm inspired because my mind has been inspired to realize that we are made up of consciousness. And all those cells that make up our body are individual consciousness that we control. And we control it by how? By meditation, by nutritional intake, the people we surround ourselves with, and our intentionality. So you gave me some food intellectual food to chew on. And also, I'm already participating. I'm doing a drink in the morning consisting of warm water, lemon juice, and raw honey. And I've been doing that since February. And I've been seeing some amazing results. My skin is clear. I feel more energized. And this helped me in so many ways. So the drink that you're suggesting, I think the only thing I want to do is perhaps add cayenne to my formulation, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you, man. Welcome. We have a saying that the discipline by selection makes no mistakes. The discipline by selection makes no mistakes. And what that means is that the people that come to us are called to us, and those that are not called don't stay. But brother, your vibration feels like kin. So I'm glad that you're with us. I'm glad that you were able to glean something from this, and we look forward to continuing the journey with you, brother. So thank you much, man. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for the
Yes, sir.
invitation.
Sir, we'll see you soon. Sister Kemet.
Can you skip me? I'm about to put her down.
Okay, skipping you. Sister Adrian.
Yeah.
Okay, no Sister Adrian. Brother Emerson, I see your hand.
Hey, what's good, instructor?
What's up,
Grateful
bro?
for tonight. You did your thing, man. It was sweet.
Thank you. Thank you. Missed you last week, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm back now, though. I'll catch up on it. But yeah, tonight was great. Y'all dropped a lot of gems, changed a lot of stuff that, we already had a lot of understanding on, but y'all really dug into it today. So I appreciate that. digging more into the electric vibes and getting the whole deeper understanding of that was cool. So another great lesson. If anybody need a recipe or a drink, I do make jars. You know, it got the chamomile, calendula, juniper berries, and all that. But it also has lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and then I add the honey for certain people. I know certain people don't like the honey, so I'll add it. Just let me know. Anybody need it, hit me up on the Telegram.
My man, love your entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
call that a shameless plug, but no, that's good. Brother Kenyatta.
Man, peace, good brother. Peace, instructor, and peace, family. Oh man, just a great class, man. You know, I'm, you know, ever since I was a white belt, man. You know, you've always had a way of inspiring me to go beyond what I even thought that I could even do myself. And I've just, you know, always been just forever grateful for that, you know, and just it's just reflective of your commitment to the discipline. And it seems like the more committed you are, the more the discipline just gives you in terms of how it moves you to go and grab certain information to instruct, bring to your instruction. And you know, constantly just in your instructional practice, you always remind us that, you know, we're dealing with you know, a higher power, and how we have the ability to court that power. And it just sort of had me present to the fact that yes, power is accessible, but it requires work. And so and we have a choice as to whether or not we want to put in the work, and we have a choice as to how much power we really want to court. And so looking at how that plays in my life as I'm moving right now, you know, I'm a teacher, and I teach economics, and all of that is based and rooted in choice. And so I've just been like looking at the choices that we make and how can we expand our wealth and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But as it boils down to, it's all a choice as to what we eat, you know, as you so eloquently brought to us, you know, how what we eat, you know, how we breathe, you know, how we're energizing the Dantians, you know, all of this is within our own power and our own choice in terms of what it is that we want to access. And so I just appreciate your instructor, man. And yes, I too, I appreciate Brother Paul for that idea coming through him. So because this is we're dealing with the universe, and it's never ending. You know, perhaps we could, you know, if it comes to you, maybe we can do a part 2, part 3, whichever way you choose, man. I'm riding with you, man. And because every time I ride with you, man, you take me to another level of myself, man. So give thanks, man.
Thank you, brother. We love you, man. I love you, man. I appreciate you. You just are who you are, King, man. You're an awesome brother. And I thank you for the compliment, man. But I also want to commend you, because from white to purple, you're a totally different creature, bro. So we're thankful for you and the work you continue to do with the youth, man, and helping to forge the future, brother. It's invaluable. Love you, man. Thank you.
You too, man. Give thanks. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Sister Rada, can you talk to us today?
She put in the chat that she couldn't.
She can't never talk. She just suck up so much game, don't never say nothing. I don't know. We're going to start charging to get online or something. Sister Randy.
Peace, instructor.
Any closing words?
Yes, definitely. I enjoyed tonight's class. Definitely most powerful. I agree with the rest of my peers. as far as it being a part 2, 3, 4. The conversations that we have or the knowledge that you give us as students is something that's forever growing, and it'll never be an end to it. So I'm very grateful to you, instructor, for giving us your time and passing on these good words to us. I really do appreciate that. And I look forward to re-listening or revisiting in this class so I can go back over my notes. I look forward to listening to this class throughout the day and the evening so I can get what I didn't get this evening, and definitely going back into my notes. I really do appreciate all of y'all, and even though I'm out of town, I'm gonna stay tapped in as much as possible because this is the generous discipline.
Ashe, Ashe. Appreciate you. When you coming back, real quick?
2 weeks to a month.
Okay, cool. Get it in. All right, we'll catch you.
2 weeks to a month, but I'm looking forward to the challenge tomorrow. I'm looking forward to my continuation and completing my challenge with the run club that we just recently started, and getting some physical training. But we're having the wake this Wednesday and the funeral is this Friday. So after all this time, we actually getting a lot of things finalized and moving forward. So I'm looking forward to that downtime so I can refocus and get back into my discipline mentally, but as well physically, as well as finding the time to meditate while I'm gone. So I'm definitely here. I need to catch back up on Telegram and things of that nature though, but it's definitely alive within me, instructor.
No worries, that ain't in question. Okay, appreciate you, sis. Brother Ibrahim.
Hey, peace, instructor. Peace, everybody.
Peace, bro.
Me, man, I'm just happy to hear you in real time, brother. Miss hearing you in real time. Miss the energy, and I'm locked in. You know, for the morning, not tomorrow morning, but you know, when we get it going. So
excellent.
That's just where I'm at.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you,
excited
man.
about the assignment. Yeah.
Miss you too, man. Let's talk. Let's catch up on the telephone, man, as early as tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to bump heads. All right, King, man. I appreciate you, man. Staying tapped in. Brother Hero.
Peace. It's another great class. Thank you for the class. Thank you for sharing. It's like just gonna go quantum super.
You hit your mute, bro. You hit mute. Come back. You hit mute.
Oh, pardon me.
You said go quantum.
Yeah, I'm like you just going quantum supernova up in here. I'm like, man, I can't even believe what you talking about. And you know how we, you so excited about it. You like, we gonna get started tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is so awesome right here. What you talking about, accessing the, our inner power on a quantum level. I'm like, this is what colonialism, slavery, all this is what all that interrupted. You know what I mean?
Yes,
this
sir.
is what we were into, and just to be in association with you all, and we all are like doing this together.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, it's not a mistake. None of this is a mistake, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for doing the research, and the class tonight was awesome, off the chain. I'm looking forward to every minute of it. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. This is, in fact, the substance of the untelevised revolution. This is
no doubt.
Is it. Yes, sir. Thank you, bro. You always come with it. You're awesome, brother, man. Awesome spirit. Thank you for being a part of the collective. And be clear that as your brother is reading and studying, I'm just as much in class as y'all in class. So don't get it twisted. We got work to do. And I need the supports. We need the supports for each other. So thank you, bro. All is good.
You got it. Let me know what you need on the research. I'm all into that. If you need help with the research, just let me know. I'm more than willing to assist with that.
Copy that, bro.
So
will do. Thank you. Who is the period?
Oh, that's me. That's Taj. I didn't know how to change my name on here.
Okay. Hey, Miss Taj, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, doing good.
I enjoyed the class. I'm sorry, 1 second. I enjoyed the class. I'm new, so I'm like on the back end of some of the things that y'all were talking about, but I'm looking forward to the mechanical conditioning for 7 days. That's something I actually been wanting to do. I just haven't figured out a routine for myself or a type of 7-day like fast or cleanse. So this is something I actually wanted to do. I actually spoke to somebody the other day about a chakra cleansing. So this was like divine timing. So I'm happy to be learning. I took a lot of notes. It was going really fast, but but I took as many notes as I could. And I probably have to look up some of the stuff that you were talking about. And I got the 2 books as well. I downloaded the 2 books as well that you referenced. So I'm happy. I'm full of gratitude.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Yes, I know. I do realize it was moving fast, but you see now. I mean, I just knew it was gonna happen. We already 2 hours and 12 minutes, and it's just like that. So we're gonna continue to refine it, and to the point that everybody else made, we probably are going to have to do some extended sessions. But you got the benefit of being with us in person, and you'll be able to dig deep. And also, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and there are many, many lessons that you can go back to and start to build your foundation, because I do realize we speak a foreign language. So whatever you do, don't get frustrated, be patient with yourself, and it'll come to you. But you got plenty of YouTube information you can go pick up and start to catch up with.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Brother Infinite.
Yes, sir, instructor. Great class tonight, man. Don't have many words. Just know it was dope as always, and I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate the effort, the spirit, the heart that you put into your lessons. Your lessons that you teach here on Zoom are filled with just as much as spirit as when you teach it on the floor. So your spirit is felt, and I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate this class.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, man. Ashe, Most High is good. Yeah, just more work to be done, brother. That's all I can see. But I appreciate you, and I thank you for always tuning in. That's important, because you bring what you bring too, bro. It's all divine. Everything's in order. Thank you, nephew, Javion.
What's going on, instructor? I'm good, man. Peace, family. Another great class as always. Y'all show time and time again. Y'all knowledge is infinite, man, for real. One thing that stood out to me, going back to the mechanical conditioning and the tempering of physical weapons is just my most challenging days being my most transformative. That's just something that I've grown to love, the beauty and the challenge. Like each class, whether it's in the virtual space or whether it's in the physical space, that new challenge, it just pushes you that much further, not only as a collective, but in self. So greatly appreciate today's lesson.
Brother, that's so powerful. And you are proving that you have adopted that as your way, because your power, the power that you move in, the humble confidence that you operate in is on a whole nother level. And what you just said makes that clear as to how and why you develop in the way that you are, bro. So I love you and I appreciate you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Love you too, instructor. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna jump over you, Instructor Sun Ray, put you in the instructor close ups. Sister Teresa.
Peace, family.
Peace.
Every meeting is like I feel like I'm just expounding more and more, becoming more and more enlightened of getting back, going back into my real self, or that spiritual place, or and it's something that I've always been curious about and wanting to, find out information. I got books and books and books, and but I really appreciate the time that you've taken, and yes, it's a lot. So I plan to get these books and go to where you the parts that you referenced tonight, and get more into this. And the conditioning is right on time, because I feel myself slipping. So it's a way to hold myself accountable, and I'm ready.
Sweet. Thank you. We love you. Appreciate you. You have shown a true level of commitment. I don't recall 1 week that you've been absent, even when you were out of town on business and pleasure. You made sure you plugged in. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for staying with us. And somebody says, shout her out for repping the D. Y'all people that move out of Detroit kill me keeping 313 phone numbers and
that's right. That's right.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
sis.
you.
Nephew Jalen.
Peace, family.
Peace.
Today it was a really good class. Again, I appreciate all the information that you give us. It really made me go back into my early training and really understand why I was doing the things that I was doing. Because for a long time, it just felt like I was going through the motions. But now you reintroducing these principles to us is giving me a deeper understanding of it. So I really do appreciate it.
Excellent, man. Thank you. Yes, sir. We all know who your daddy is, man. He had you on some things for a long time. So now that we come into it with consciousness, man, the power and the growth is going to be unworldly, out of this world, man. So I appreciate you for staying tuned in, man. As a young person, you got other things you could do, but you staying really dedicated, bro. So I love you and appreciate you. Antoine Hayes, is that my son, or is that just another a user on this account?
That's my computer.
Okay, cool. Alexandria McKenzie, my baby, my firstborn baby. What's up?
Hello. I thought this was amazement. I really appreciate the invite. I just wanted to basically reiterate what everybody else was saying with the importance in staying connected to your mind, body, and spirit, and making sure that the environmental factors and the diet and the relationships that you may have with other people, being able to stay connected to thyself.
Yes.
And making sure that you stay tapped into your